What are we doing?
Well, we'll start off with saying greetings, Earthlings. How's everybody doing today, and how's everybody doing here on Earth? We are Tammy and Anthony Chino from the state of New Mexico. We actually reside in the city of Albuquerque. We love being here on Earth. And I understand there's a lot of questions about what is the work here on Earth that we're supposed to be doing. Well, the works on Earth are very simple. Everybody makes it more complicated than what it is. Everybody feels like they have to meet a guru,
Leader.
A pastor, a preacher. Instead of believing in themselves, they think they need some kind of earth guidance instead of using the universe within us, the universe. Okay. So they always searching outside of themselves. And now, reason being is because we're human beings, we're earthlings. We always tend to try to find something better that's over the horizon. And we always find out too that the grass is not always greener. You know, we don't look within ourselves. We always want to look outside to find answers. And that's where the word work is involved. You got to do your work here on Earth. The work here on Earth is just simple. Be a human being by loving yourself, having that gratitude, appreciation for what you have and what you don't have. Everybody wants to bestow all these rules and regulations on spirituality or being a human being. We understand that there are certain rules to play the game, and it is a game. You just got to know how to play the game. Don't let the game play you. Play the game. And you do this by believing in self. And this is like happening nowadays. A lot of messages coming in to self-empowerment, self-love, appreciation. It's all about that. It's all about those simple words that we created here on Earth. We know that we evolved here to learn certain types of spirituality. I guess you say like emotions, feelings, and stuff like this, like gratitude and all those good words that come with loving yourself. When you love yourself, that's when the magic happens. People still want to go back to that third dimensional world where it's real heavy, dense, vibration is really low. But we're here to be reminders of how to lift yourself to a higher vibration, to a higher frequency, by our food, by our atmosphere. Like being here in the forest, this frequency here is like whoa! Is like it's sometimes it's mind blowing how beautiful nature is. I mean, we don't see that a lot. You don't see that a lot in the cities that we live in, or places that we reside in. You always tend to watch the television tell you your vision, and we get away from that duality world. We try to make it less duality, but it has to balance itself out too. And it's a lot of balancing that we need to do also here. It's just a human experience. It's your story. Create it. You're the creator. Create it how you want it to be. Instead of trying to follow somebody else's ideas or follow somebody else's belief. Believe in yourself. Understand who you are. Be your authentic self. Make mistakes. Make a lot of them so you can learn from them. I mean, we all made mistakes. We've all done stuff that we resent doing. And we can't always be goody two-shoes. We're just human beings. So we tend to make mistakes, and it's okay. It's fine. You're not going to be condemned to some purgatory where or some hell that they always talk to us about. It's about evolving into the higher frequency, into a higher realm of consciousness. Now, the consciousness plays a big role in this, and this is this dream that I always love to be in. This is a dream world where you can recreate it the way you want it to be, the way your heart wants to feel it. You know, the heart tells you a lot about what you're feeling. And, you know, we have all these star people, the Sasquatches, these elementals, these fairy peoples that are around us. And that's when you come from your heart, that's when the magic happens. And we feel all of this, and once you start believing self, understanding, going in instead of looking out, that's when you start visualizing all the star people, the Sasquatches and the fairy people and everything that is here. It's all here. You just have to be childlike and have that imagination that magic is going to happen. And it's very beautiful once you start believing in yourself and start loving yourself all the way. Once I started loving myself all the way, my beautiful self came. And ever since then, it's just been like, whoa, one present after another, one gift is open after another, after another, after another. And we live in this spirituality every day of our lives. In this higher frequency, this higher vibration, we live in this. We don't just do it 7 days out of the week or 2 days out of the week. It's a constant. It's every day. Every day is that feeling of vibration is high. It's really, really high. And now the thing is that we had to change our diet also. We had to start eating right, start eating higher vibrational foods. To do, that's part of the work that you're always wanting to, what is this work we're doing? So part of it is that. My wife here, Tammy, has some good and beautiful advice for you now. And it's very simple. Just be the best human being you can be. Be in the present moment. Don't worry about what's going to happen in the future. It's not even here yet. I mean, you're just fulfilling the destiny that you came here to Earth to fulfill, to complete what you came here to complete. Because if you leave this dimension, I could say, because it's all dimensional. It's not just one solidified place that we're on. There's many, many dimensions that we live in, and there's many different dimensions that we play a part in. So we have to have that understanding that there's another Anthony in another dimension playing a different role, playing a different part. And now all of those timelines and all those dimensions are starting to come together. And this is why we have the synchronicities, the body pains and stuff that we're going through. And I'm gonna have my beautiful self explain a lot of that with these shirts that we have.
Tokoro mahai ni te si to ya tako shoye ne maaye se te tore batake ne mane e se yo e ne na maaye koyoto soto shene maaye te duri de ma ato koyine ma e noro ba e si to koyine na maaye. That is just one of the languages that I translate from my highest self. If you wanted if you wanted the star beings to be here on Earth, we are here on Earth. There's many of us here on Earth already incarnated, and we made this decision once long ago. We've been living on this earth over and over again to fix the things that we never finished. We started them but never finished them, and now we're here at this time and point on this paradigm and trying to clear out the old paradigms that kind of just messed up. We just effed them up. Sorry. But the way it started was, it was an original plan. The original plan was we wanted to find a beautiful world where all of us can come and coincide and have a vacation, literally creating a Disneyland, a amusement park for all of us to come and have fun and enjoy and be in a dense body, to be able to hug, love, kiss, to be able to eat amazing food, to be able to express who we are individually. And so we found Earth. And as that happened, the rock people were the first on Earth. And then we started transitioning many other species here on Earth. And unfortunately, the dinosaurs just could not be part of the game because they were just way too big, and creating the beings that we wanted to create here on Earth was not going to work. So there had to be a master plan to exterminate that. And once that happened, then we started creating a whole different world. And like I like to say, the Galactic Federation, had to meet up. We brought the plants, we brought the animals, we brought all this to this earth, and they started living, and we started experimenting to see how everything was going to grow and survive. And everything just became so beautiful. As you see, Mother Earth, there's so many different lands on here. And every land that you go to, whether it be in Europe or whether it be in Alaska or whether it be in Arizona, all these different lands represent different planets. So we brought all that to this earth so we can all experience each other's planets. It's a really amazing, beautiful plan that we had. And we wanted to have that density. And in creating that density, we had an agreement with Mother Earth. And with Mother Earth, she gave us this beautiful human body so we could embody on this earth and live on this earth like it's our earth suit. And we have the spirit of the universe. This is our pineal gland. This is where we get all our consciousness from the universe. So we have the frequency of the universe, and we have the frequency of Mother Earth in one being, in one amazing being. And we have these amazing bodies that regenerate. And you have a whole new body within 7 years if we take care of it. Right? So we had this way amazing plan. And as we created this plan, we got trapped into this Venus flytrap. And this Venus flytrap was so beautiful, but we forgot our way out. Our whole mission here was just to have fun, to experience, and to analyze each other. And as that happened, we just got so tied up in all what was here and started creating this karmic tie, we were starting things and not finishing them, and starting them and not finishing. And then when we decided we were leaving from our bodies, we never left. We kept coming right back down. And this is just, take what you need from whatever I'm saying. This is just the experiences, and what I know is my truth. But you'll build your own truth on whatever I am giving to you. So take what you need from it. We're not your leaders or gurus. We are just experiencers just as you, and we're just reminders. And this is what we tell everybody. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. So as we did this, and we were trying to figure out our other brothers and sisters, our family members on other galaxies, were wondering why we weren't coming home. What's going on? What's happening? Well, we started getting trapped on this earth. So We had to figure out a whole different other plan on how to remind our family members to come back to home. They couldn't leave. Yes, we have free will and we get to have this experience, but we're still all one. So we had to pull in forces to help remind us of who we were. We got so dense into the third dimension, and that duality was really real hard and real brash, and it divided our masculine and feminine frequencies. It divided who we truly were from the Lemurian time all the way to Atlantis, and there was all these different timelines that we kept trying to pull out, and we couldn't. So now, at this time, and you wonder what's going on right now at this time and day. Well, at this time and day, we're all here. We embodied on this earth. We all had to gather together as a Galactic Federation and create the DNA to be able to come and embody in this earth, because there is universal law that we cannot do any work on this planet unless we are incarnated in this planet. This planet, you have to have that same DNA. So a lot of the abductions and everything you talk about and hear about, it's not a bad thing. It's not a malevolent thing. It's not an evil thing. It's just our family is collecting data and collecting information for us to be able to replicate the DNA and evolve it. So we have the consciousness. And as you know, you see these indigo and these new starseeds that are coming to this earth, and their eyes are more separated, and their look is so different, and the eyes are really different. You have different irises, and it's just very different because they're preparing us for the mass ascension. So they're manipulating all this DNA and creating all this stuff. And yes, we probably have children in other dimensions as well that they're taking and trying to create a humanoid body. And by us coming here on this earth, now we have the power to be able to do what we needed to do. A lot of us dreamt of coming to this earth, and now it's time for us to be here and do this work together. So because of all the evil and all the deaths and all the chaos that has happened on this earth, it's been a ripple effect through the universes, not just ours, but many others. Mm-hmm. And this has been alerted throughout many timelines. So everybody is here helping us at this time. And many of the incarnates here on the earth, what I mean by incarnate, are the human beings, the man beings that are here on this earth, are star beings that have signed up to help complete this mission. And the mission is to remind everybody who they are, free them from our trap, and to close out the timelines that we never closed out. It was all an experiment. And it was a lovely experiment. But what we're finding out is that the third dimension is not going to work any longer. And the lowest that they really want to do is fourth and fifth dimensions. So this is all of us. As I say they, that's us, which is we, which is me. So we're all each other. So as we close out these timelines, think of a slinky, and you pull that slinky apart. You're living all these timelines. And every time you close up each slinky and you tighten it up, we're closing up all the timelines. And now the manifestations and the synchronicities are happening faster and faster. And your dreams are in this present moment now. You're not dreaming into other lands. You're dreaming right now at this time in space. So when we're doing this, it makes us more powerful. Our thoughts and everything are very, very solid. And if we come in community with one another, then we can change the dynamics of each paradigm. So as we're going forth in this mission, everybody is here at this time and everybody is starting to remember who they are. But it's a little bit scary because they think that they're losing it, or they're going to be tied up in a straitjacket, or they're even afraid of just not being accepted by the status quo. But once you know who you are and you empower the goddessness within you or the God within you, then you understand that you don't have to look for the guru outside of you. And when we're in this place, we've brought and united the masculine and feminine together, and that was the main mission. Because once we do that, then we are that true human being, that true Christ consciousness on earth that was given to us many lifetimes by the Kachinas. And we forgot that the Kachinas were the star beings. Many of us buy Kachinas and we put them on our fireplaces and we say, oh, how beautiful. But you forgot that those were the ones that came down to teach us how to live as a human on this earth, as an embodied star being on this earth. What is the dance? So here we are in this time. And unfortunately, the elders of many traditions are holding on to that third dimension paradigm. And they're afraid to move forward because they have never been shared what was to happen in the future. Some of them have, but they've forgotten that they have to share the information with the Rainbow Tribe. The Rainbow Tribe is everybody, all colors and creeds. And we knew that all the star beings would come to this earth and disguise themselves. They won't have a label no more. The sexes won't have a label anymore as well. And that is happening very fast. Our star beings are coming and they're making a stand. No more. We're done with you destroying this earth. We have to fix this so we can move forward. In this process, we have been given the vision of collective frequency. So therefore, we created this symbol, which Spirit showed us. And we're from New Mexico. And in New Mexico, that is the mesa, the table. So at the table, everybody is coming from all four directions to meet at the mesa, the table. And with this, we all meet, we collaborate, and we create community with community with community. And each community intertwines within each other. And we're building that love within ourselves. And as we have that love and that embodied empowerment within ourselves and we become our true sovereign being, we become this strong communities. And each community is a different aspect of ourselves. And as they intertwine, we keep creating this Vesica Pisces, as you know what a flower of life is. And it keeps evolving and evolving and evolving. And it spreads out throughout the whole world. And it creates, I would say, like a cold, a chew. I love you. So it's like you're spreading to each other. Everybody has an auric field, so every time we touch each other, we're uploading and downloading each other with information and all these codes that come through to remind us of who we are. So now we're impacting the world and coming outward instead of coming inward. And we're impacting each other by all the knowledge and the wisdom that we have encountered through every land that we've been to. So with that, we are biological computers and we are collecting data, and you're being called to all different lands. You're being called to Hawaii, to Canada, to all over the place, South America, because we're uploading and downloading information as a pyramid would. And now all the twin spirits are coming together and the twin flames are coming together to create those pyramids in human form, to spread out that light, to awaken everybody. And as we awaken, we go through this process that is happening now. The next phase is the process of going through the Vesica Pisces, which is the yoni, which is going through the birthing canal into a new universe. And that's what everybody is feeling at this time. the headaches, the body aches, the gastritis, the sharp pains in your feet, the dizziness, the ringing in the ears, the weird taste in your mouth, the metallic
Vertigo.
taste, the vertigo. All of this is part of the ascension process because the elevation of the Schumann resonance. So the Schumann resonance is only supposed to be at 7.4 to 7.6. And as our earth is going through this, we are going through this because we are connected to Mother Earth. And as we're connected to Mother Earth, we're feeling what she's feeling. And when the Schumann resonance elevates all the way to 110, we're not really in our bodies and we feel like we've been pulled out of our bodies and we can't even
think
or stand straight or and we're so exhausted and so tired and not understanding what we're feeling. But you're not alone. We're all going through this at the same time. We're not alone. We're all here at this time. So the next phase was Galactic Frequency. And this was a vision that they gave to us. And our star brothers and sisters came to help us, which is our highest self. So each one of us is tied to a star nation, and we are getting help from up there, from around us, not even up, it's around and within these dimensions, these cross dimensions. So it's not like it's a heaven or hell or anything like that. It's like there's dimensions within what we're doing. Everything's a spiral out, as Tool would say, spiral. So everything's in a spiral. All the dimensions are in spirals. So we're going through cross dimensions as Sasquatch would do. Sasquatch goes through dimensions to get to another space and time. And that's what our bodies are trying to learn how to do now at this time. That's why we're going through this ascension process, the rapture, which you have read in the books many times, the event, if you're a new ager. There's many labels to it, but we're at this time. But it's not a time of despair or destruction. It's a time of awakening, the death of the old and the beginning of the new. And with this, they told us that this symbol was the symbol for us to come back to. And back in a long time ago, people that had studied or knew each other, they would draw half of it. And then the other person would come and draw the other half of the Vesica Pisces. And then they would know who they were. Now, the way we're doing it is we color our hair, or we dress weird, or we get tattoos, or we have sacred geometry around us. We're knowing each other through our symbols, through our actions, and sometimes it's just through our vibration and frequency, what your vibration is in your body, and you're attracting those people that are on the same frequency as you. As you embody this empowerment and this sovereignty in the first phase that I had showed you, you have the keys to go through to the other side with the help of our brothers and sisters. So we're here at this time, walking at this time. And if I turn the shirt to the side, right now we are in August, the last day of August 2019. And as we're going through this, we're going all the way to November 6th. And we will evolve all the way up through November 6th. And then as that happens through the new year, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So if you've done much of your work as loving yourself and fixing things within yourself, and everything around you is fixing, then you start getting the rewards and the manifestations that you've dreamt of forever, that you thought were never going to come. So accept them gracefully and gratefully. Now, the other ones that chose to sleepwalk, they will be going through the underside, and they will be given a chance to come and meet us on that dawning of age of Aquarius. So we're here at this time. So on this, they will go through many struggles and tribulations to try to reach us at the same point in time, so we can all go together into this new age of Aquarius. So it's an amazing time right now. And this is the elevation of where we're going to come through, but we can't take anything with us. We can't take those sorrows, the unforgiveness. We can't take any of that negative stuff with us because that's so third dimensional. As the kids would say, it's so 3D. But yeah, we have to let go of that and flush the toilet, the proverbial toilet. We need to flush that so that way you can cross over to that new paradigm. Thus, everybody that you have not forgiven yet are all going to come into your realm again so you can forgive. And once you forgive that and you let it go, then you get to move forward to the next level in the video game or the board game, whichever one you want to have. So there's many things that are shifting and changing, and we are seeing the old paradigm was the Kachina's way of helping us to live here on earth. But now we're having the new incarnates, which are the younger generation, the ones you call the star seeds. Now just don't underestimate them because they're not younger than us. They are way older than us. So don't underestimate the knowledge that they give us. They are from other dimensions and universes that have come here to help us because they don't want this to end. They don't want this to diminish because they want this in other universes as well. So as you are sleeping and you feel these chills coming through your body, and as you feel these headaches, and as you feel all these different feelings that are happening, we are getting upgraded and downloaded by many ancient galactics that are giving us, so that way they can prepare us for their landing. It's not going to even be a landing. They're just going to show up. The landing is the false prophet, just so you know. The landing is the government idea of what is the mass ascension. They will just show up as Sasquatch shows up, as your star beings show up. But what's going to happen is, and this is just what they give us psychically, they tell us what's happening, is they are preparing us because the government knows that if we were standing side by side with one of our star brothers and sisters, our bodies would not be able to handle the frequencies that they embody. So we would simply diminish. We would die because our organic body is not prepared for the frequencies that they have or for the radiation that they have within them. So we have many beings that live here on this earth at this time. And these beings that live here on the earth at this time have been working with the government and giving them all kinds of information on how to create these starships. And now the government has mastered it, and they have a plan because they do want to diminish half of our population or most of it so that way they can have more control. So as they're doing this, they are working with all these other star beings that live on this earth. There's many good star beings that are watching over us, but there's many other ones that are working through the ego base only because they've been here on earth for so long that they are living in that duality and they forgot who they were. So as they do land, and the reason why we're getting prepared and uploaded and downloaded is because we have to have the frequencies for every being that's going to be here on this earth. So that way we don't pass over, we don't leave our body, we don't diminish, we don't die. So as that's happening, what our brothers and sisters are planning is to come down at the same exact time as what the mass ascension is with the ships. So with the ships is all governmental. And when those come down, at the same time, our brothers and sisters will show up. And this is just what they're telling me. They're going to show up at the same time. And as they show up, we've already been upgraded. We can handle the frequencies that are happening. And so our other brothers and sisters, our other star brothers and sisters that are in on the earth right now at this time, they're going to reawaken and ask, why am I working with them? What am I doing? I forgot who I was. So we will elevate all of us at the same time. And then we will all meet as brothers and sisters again. And many of us will be able to leave this earth if we want to. And many of us will be able to create the new world. And then many of us will go back on ships. So we will have the free will to leave as we please. The only ones that are really still tied to this earth and to that contract are from our age group to the elders. The younger generation, they don't have a contract stuck on this earth. They just came to help. So listen to the wisdom of the younger generation, because we're building a bridge between the old star knowledge and the new star knowledge and how to make this whole new world. So we're here to create a whole new blueprint to the next realm, to the next universe, the next dimension. So this is something that's really important at this time. And I think that's all I have to say right now. What's next?
Oh, it just comes. It's all just coming from the heart space.
Come from the heart space.
Speaking from the heart, appreciating from the heart, because this is what these beings don't know anything about hate, anger, all those negative frequencies that we learned here on Earth. They don't know anything about that. Sasquatch doesn't know anything about this. Sasquatch comes and checks your heart. What are you living by? Are you truly living by your heart space, or are you just using your ego to get where you need to go? Mind you, if you use this ego, it is a tool to utilize, to use for discernment. But if you get too much into that ego space, then it diminishes your vibration. It makes you a lower vibrating, human being. As to if you come from your heart space and truly love yourself and appreciate what you have, you're going to evolve a little bit higher and higher and higher. I don't know, raising the frequency. This is what we're talking about, collective frequency, the collective on the same frequency. So we want everybody to be empowered, to give back their power to them that was taken away from a lot of programming that went on, especially to our generation, the 80s and the 90s, and even before that, they already started programming our parents and into believing that they have to live a certain way, a structured way, and it doesn't have to be that way no more. And we're here to change that. We're here to break down all these walls, break down all these ideas that they had on how to be a proper human being. We don't have to follow those structured rules no more. We're gonna make our own. We're gonna empower everybody. When you start healing yourself, you start healing everything, even the earth, everything around you, everything that you created. So it truly comes from here, not from here. You can't put your heart in your head. You got to come from the heart space, the what you feel, because this tells you a lot about what you're feeling at this time. And I know once you open that heart up, and once you are, have this open mind of what is really happening around you, what deprogramming yourself from society, and just believing in yourself and understanding that, you can make that change here on Earth too.
And it's and remember about frequencies. So watch your frequencies. 5G is here to kind of deplete us as well. So we have to evolve and keep evolving. So this is by diet. This is by what you listen to, what you watch. Don't watch the news. This kind of stuff is really important for you to discern and watch what's going on. And everybody has a vocal, and everybody's vocal is tied to a frequency. And we all have a language, and it's a light language. A lot of people call it speaking in tongues, and that's what I spoke to you in earlier. And this is to unlock the DNA, so that way when we talk to each other in our star language, we're unlocking a piece of the DNA that has been locked for centuries. Mm-hmm. And this is through many of your ancestral timelines. So as we start moving forward and utilizing our light language, it's in a musical form, the way we're talking. And this goes back all the way to the Tower of Babel, how they separated our languages. So that's why we're coming back to speaking our star language, because we are embodied star beings now. And so that's usually what we have to move forward to is using our light language
Our
more
frequency.
so. Sikoria, yeah.
Orman na kumunji and in dar to Mukubani city. And you call him and shata off of Muka Tamu city, Moku in the Yatuoma. Ah, Sumania Makumurne, Woti, Dakar Mo, Shonia, Tiamanio, to your mark, woman, dear.
Te kote ni ma i chi te to i ne ma i ti o te ki yana ma e re to tui ti to se te ia e no e ne a e she i ne to to i se ka yo o ne te si yo shu i ne te ia ui ne na ma i ne re na kore te si yo ui ti u e ne ia no ki ia shi yo to to re ne ma ai te i ti u. Many blessings to you.
We love you.
So people talk to me about the ascension all the time, wondering if it's something real or something fake. And my belief and my teachings from all types of realms have told me that this is a reality for humans. And what the humans are really trying to do here on Earth are become as Earth. So the star seeds are coming to Earth to bring their seeding, to bring their life force from the cosmos here to Earth. And if you are already of Earth, then you are being seeded by the cosmos. So the cosmos has to come through a body. So my understanding is through cellular science and cellular activities. So when the body wants to ascend, that means that the Merkaba, the exchange of energy within the body and outside of the body, wants to connect into the earth because the toroidal field around the body cannot operate the electricity, the trauma, the belief systems, the ideas, the implants, whatever you got going on in your Merkaba. This needs to change away from the matrix and away from the things that hold us back from our organic nature, which is God source. So as God source, through the life force of the body, it changes. So how does the body ascend? Well, you actually do it in your body. You don't leave your body. This is the misconception. We don't astral travel now because it's too volatile in the archon streams. So what we do is we come into the body in a kind and compassionate way. And when you come into the body in a kind and compassionate way, the body structure can release trauma, release lower vibration. That's the point. It's consciousness plus energy equals reality. What consciousness are you bringing to the Merkaba to ascend out of the matrix? We ascend out of the matrix into a fifth dimensional kind of quality of life by accessing the God source within you attached to the organic nature of Earth, because this is a science. And this is the science that I understand and have been taught by ancient ones since 2007. I understood how the cellular body had to take on information and take off information. So the lower vibration inside the body, inside the mind, inside the aura had to leave. We weren't doing that compassionately. We were doing it through judgment. That's how the New Age or New Cage movement or the fake age movement, whatever you want to call it, prescribes for us. So what I essentially ask is that, could you love yourself enough to ascend in a body? Because that's what your spirit asked for, a body. You just ask for one without trauma. If you become the alchemist of the body, then the body can ascend. And the reason that this can happen is through self-love. This is what I teach. Ascension is self-love. Ascension is compassion only. And when you have compassion for the Merkaba that you live in, the consciousness of the thousands of lives that you have inside your Merkaba, inside your conscious stream, and your attachment to the organic grid and to the attachment of God's source energy within you, this overflows a frequency from the heart. It's self-love. Well, what is this frequency? It is the frequency of copper. It's a science. It's a heart-based science that if this magnetic heart grounds into the magnetic earth, we ascend. We have to ascend by being part of the organic life And when we become the organic life and we allow the Merkaba to open, the crown to open, and receive the wisdom of all our lives, this is the ascension, where you can walk in a body as a resurrected being on an earth in the same body. This happened to me. I resurrected a body in 2007. I died and came back. They call me a walk-in, some people. I don't care for that phrase. But this is resurrection of a body. This is ascension in a body. I didn't have to die and come back to a new body to gain new high consciousness. It just happens. But I have to go along with the cellular memory and let the cellular memory out. And so letting lower vibration leave you, letting higher vibration come in, this is you changing your thoughts. So that's what you can do now. You can change your thoughts and you can become responsible, finally, for everything that happens with you. It's not the matrix that did this to you. It's not another person. It's actually your soul. And you have to operate with your soul. You have to work with your soul to really move through the ascension. So you have to go in through no judgment of yourself and others, compassion for yourself and others. This creates the copper through the body that grounds the unit. So the golden layer around the body becomes a transducer. Instead of you ripping your aura into other dimensions that create havoc for you, you become responsible of your body. You become responsible of your life. So no longer can we give the matrix the power over us as the scapegoat of why your life sucks. Because our life can really get beautiful and we can be God-sourced in a body if we just choose it. So ascension to me is the choice of life itself in this dimension. And if everyone chooses life and without judgment and kindness for themselves, this is how this organic life will ascend. So this is individual work in the unity. We're not waiting for others outside of us to do it. We do it ourselves. We become ascended beings right now in our body through our thoughts, through our mind and actions. And that changes the organic grid back to a God-sourced, non-matrix, non-manipulated source of life. And that's what the Sasquatch have taught me. That's what many beings have taught me. That we are the creation of compassion. And we need to remember it. That's all.
So my name is Seth, and I'm here to talk about Ascension and my take on it and offer some advice in moving forward with that process. The energies that I'll be emitting through the recording equipment is from the Creator, and it is the energies of the highest and best to bring about the highest and best for your life in the highest and best way. And so do your best to just relax and allow that current to start flowing. And I'm going to explain the portion of Ascension that deals with being responsible. We must come to a place within ourselves where we love ourselves enough to take the time each day to make sure we're checking in and staying balanced and ending a very stiff program that's been running for a very long time of the victim and blame game. The victim and blame game is very crippling for anybody to move forward. And really, as healers go, that's kind of an essential prerequisite. They really can't help people that are stuck in that victim and blame game mentality, because they just keep blocking it and say, no, it's somebody else's fault that I'm feeling this way. And in reality, it's you're feeling that way because of the situation. That situation could have had 1,000 people, and there'll be 1,000 different emotional and intellectual interpretations of that reality. So with that said, we have to basically activate ourselves to say, I need to take responsibility, because Ascension really is every time that you find within yourself something that is bringing your energy down, compromising you in some way. When you resolve that for real, your energy is going to feel different. It's going to feel lighter and higher and more coherent. And all the sound work that's out there and work with other higher beings and all that, their job is to act as host. And what that means is they hold a higher coherency. And when you step into their field or feeling their emanations and aligning with them until you can align with your own, higher self is used very loosely. There's a lot to learn when it comes to that, as far as 15 different states of consciousness that you are, okay? And most of us are at a station of consciousness that is really in a place of materialism, and they're stuck in that place. And in the materialism world, there's not a lot of feeling. And if you look at modern day with the technocratic era, it's turning humans into almost like a machine mentality, because look at kids today, they're having a hard time bonding with people because they're bonding with a computer. And where's the emotional component to that? They could make an emotion or image of an emotion, but there's a total other dimension of feeling that we all must tap into. That's really an essential prerequisite, because some stages of self-development are, self-mastery 101 is being aware of every thought that is going on in your head. And you're asking yourself, well, who's doing the watching of the thoughts? That would be a higher station of consciousness of yours. And that consciousness can go higher and higher and higher depending on what brainwave states you're in, what environment you're in. And after you've been paying attention to your thoughts, and that's kind of a normal process to where you're checking in 24/7. Well, when you're sleeping, you'll be processing in a different way through dream state. Take it to the next level. Every emotion that you feel, okay? And there's a difference between emotions and feelings in a way where your emotion is something that is triggered within yourself from either a preconditioned response or some kind of active memory that hasn't been resolved. And then you have feeling, where you can extend your consciousness and feel your environment. And that's really important, because that will help guide basically your decision-making process, because there's a lot of information out there. And it's really important. One of the most important tips that I can give right now at this point is trust what you feel more than what you see, because there's a lot of hype out there and a lot of information that it is marketed as very healthy, but it's not. And that's first and foremost. So work on your feelings, work on your ability to pick up an object and feel what it feels like, and feel the difference between that pine cone and that pine cone, and work on that. Build that pattern in yourself, and you've got your internal guidance system being activated. That's going to take you very far, very far. And that will grow and deepen the more you clear out your active memories and traumas and PTSD, whatever you got going on inside of you that is an incoherent or a chaotic state. The more you clear that out, the clearer the signal. And I think that's what most people are looking for when they're hearing about ascension, is how do I get clearer with the answers? I'm not feeling it with the pendulum. I'm not feeling it with muscle testing. I'm stuck. First step, get your emotions in order, okay? Love those emotions when they come up. So find a moment within yourself where you can really feel love, and music is really great for that. And the next time you feel triggered, allow that energy that you've generated within yourself to pour over it. And one of the ways that I've been taught is to look at every single issue that you have that's crying inside, self-pity, whatever it is. Treat it like your inner child and love it until that thing is completely transformed into a healthy, loving being again. Because our inner child has been stifled quite a bit through the man-made world. Yes, it's got its own construct and we're learning and growing, yet it's getting old for people. It's not fulfilling the deeper aspects that their soul is really wanting them to dig deeper into. So primary is being aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, and your reactions. Your reactions will tell you a lot about yourself. And when you have a reaction, the best thing you can do is stay conscious Stay conscious with yourself. Be the observer of it. Say things like, right now, I feel triggered and I feel angry inside. That's not blaming. You're basically just labeling where you're at. That's a very critical step to be in, because the moment you become the angry one, you're stuck in that and you're releasing a massive amount of energy and your personal power is being drained. Our elders have basically said you're only going to be able to shift yourself, your life, this planet, in direct proportion to your personal power. So are you wasting your personal power every day? So that's why this self-inventory is critical to get yourself in the position where you're not wasting your power anymore. Because that is one of the downfalls that people really get stuck in, and you can feel the emotion coming up. It's sad. It's a sad thing to see people struggling with just that one area. And there's so much more to experience in life than being stuck in and wallowing around in self-pity. Because if you look at every issue that we go through and you trace it back down to the bottom, it's feeling sorry for ourselves or feeling sorry for others. And that's basically the bottom of the barrel. So if you've gotten to that place, love that place. Love that terrain, okay? And there's lots of techniques out there. Lots of techniques. Find the ones that feel right for you, all right? That's the first part, and we can stop right there, because that's a nice little checklist of things to do. So the question is what is ascension? Let's unpack it and demystify it a little bit. Ascension is basically the process of taking yourself from your current state to a state that is much more balanced and conducive to growth, that basically is never ending. There's a lot that's going on when it comes to what may be blocking ascension, what we can do our part of it. But in a nutshell, ascension is basically we've got to iron out all of the wrinkles that we have created in ourselves. We've essentially gone in and said, I want to have these experiences. And sometimes we can get stuck in these experiences in powerlessness, which are really hard to get out of on your own, because when it does come up, you will be feeling very powerless. So the Ascension Movement is a huge dynamic throughout, and basically a mission from more highly evolved beings, because there are certain sequences of the way things line up, because it's all connected. We kind of hear that everything is one, everything's connected. That's definitely true. And certain beings reach a certain stage and they can't really move forward until the next layer down reaches the next layer up, and then they can go the next layer up. And so it's basically an elder helping somebody that needs help. They come in and host that energy. The host basically means I'm a gracious host. I've been there, done that. I've got the t-shirt. Let me help you. Help yourself, because the whole savior complex is coming to an end. The basic activator statement that I've been getting lately is the time is now to see what you can really do, what you can do. And that should light a fire inside of your belly to say, it is time to see what I could really do. I've been sitting back on the couch just wasting time watching TV, and really, am I doing anything to help anybody but myself? So coming out of service to self and coming into service to others, you will be now actively co-creating and engaging with basically elders or higher consciousness beings that can help you with that process. So it is a process of pulling up, helping, and moving up. And then these group down here will help that group down there, and so on and so forth, until everybody's reached the state of absolute perfection, where there's complete, perfect balance within each other and in what we co-create, and perfect honesty. And there's many, many ingredients that are necessary for ascension to happen. And all of them deal with harmonization and balance. And there is so many healers out there right now, and I bless them all. They're doing an amazing job to bring forward the harmony that needs to be brought to the disharmony. That's really it in a nutshell. And it's very complex, and there's lots of work to be done. But that's basically how I see it, and that's been my experience. And it's definitely up to us to do our part, or we're basically like an environmental drag, right? Environmental drag on the rest. And yes, it's much more complex than that, but that's really as simple as I can put it. Yeah. So.
Okay, perspectives on the Ascension with Graham MacSkimming, that's me, and everyone who's here. I often hear from the hairy people psychically, and the star people, different races of star people, mention something called the Circle of Souls. And it seems that the Circle of Souls has a lot to do with resolution of karma, choices we've made in various lives that we've been incarnated into, result in relationships that need to be resolved or healed. Often with family members, we'll meet them again in another life. Maybe they're human, or we could even meet them in the form of an extraterrestrial or a Sasquatch. And they have sometimes similarities to human people that we know, that maybe we're very close to. Could be our girlfriend, friend, boyfriend, son, uncle, anybody. And the strange thing that occurs over time is that there's a recognition of the same soul, the same being speaks through an organism in another body, which differentiates itself from its life within yet another species, organic construct. So they're coming to communicate with us now, other selves, other lives that were lived, say, as a star person, somebody from the Pleiadian galaxy perhaps, could psychically contact a human being living on Earth today and find a way to reach out to them so that they know that they're speaking to somebody that they're already familiar with, maybe even themselves, in another form, in another incarnation. And they could be meeting them for the first time, or meeting themselves in another form for the first time. And so the Circle of Souls begins to resolve itself as these meetings happen, these convergences between different beings and individuals that have lived not just one life, but many lives. So I don't have any doubts about reincarnation. For it's a journey of the soul through many bodies. And once we simply want to go back home to the Creator, we relinquish mortal life and we stop having mortally incarnated lives and just go to the land of the Creator himself, herself, however you might see the Creator, the cosmic force that is responsible for all life, has a home that is waiting for us when we're ready to go, when we've lived enough lives as incarnated beings, maybe on many planets, maybe mostly on this planet or another planet, different times and places with different people. But they all come together in the end. And we find ourselves here in an event like this, where I think people from many lives converge and meet again after being separate for a long time. So that's one gift of being here, is meeting people that you have a deeper connection with and might be apparent on the surface. So I feel thankful for that. And there's also many sightings that I've had that involve hairy people, Sasquatch, and Sasquatch-related individuals that wanted me to see them at a certain time. Other times, hairy people preferred to stay farther away and have their own privacy. But sometimes they want to make a statement to people that, yes, I am here, and I want to say something to you. And if a Sasquatch, say, walks by your kitchen window, if you're in a habituation site like I was in, then over time it becomes apparent that this Sasquatch wanted me to see him for a certain reason. And I realized eventually that he was me in another life. And he wanted me to see him. And our partner, our female partner, also wanted to be seen and showed herself at the same window in the same way. And I pieced it together much later, the purpose of this. So the circle of souls was resolved at that point for me in one way. And it just continues to progress. I think for everybody who is experiencing an ascension or a consciousness or vibration raising, the circle of souls is certainly a place to look at all the relationships we've had over in inconceivable time and space, and that they can come together in this life now, and healing occurs. I think that's all I'd like to say. I really appreciate it.
All right. Wow, I got the goosebumps. That's how you know. People want to know how the communication, what is ascension, the awakening. If anybody's ever seen The Matrix, the waking up from the slumber of where we're at, the not knowing to knowing. Know thyself to heal thyself, to help thyself. Being able to know that we all have these amazing God-given gifts, talents, and abilities that we receive to use, to help people to remember their divine purpose. You ever notice that your gift, talents, and abilities that you have, and we wonder where do we get them? That there are things that you just have a calling for, and you allow yourself to experience it, and then you're really good at it, so good at it that it's almost like you're expert at it, yet you've never done it before. How is that possible? That you're expert in something, or that you've never experienced yet is as natural as breathing to you. And the ascension is that awakening, or that remembering, if you will. Eternal souls having a human experience. How long is a human experience? Blink of an eye. But we're an eternal soul. So, this go on for eons. So you have this moment where, I feel like I've been here. I've done this, deja vu. Or you meet someone, I feel like I've known you. And you're wondering, how is that possible? In the ascension, or that awakening, that remembering, that recall, that you've been here and done that before, and the moment that you allow yourself to step into that, it all starts flooding back. It's like riding a bike. You never forget how to do it. And the ascension, everything that they say is woo-woo, which, what is woo-woo? These are all things that we've done before, communing with spirit, communing with the animals, connection with crystals. These are all tools or gifts that we've had that assist us in being able to help others to remember and to reawaken and to recall who they are, what we're meant to do. Some people feel like they've been a high priest or priestess, or a medicine man or woman, or a shaman or whatnot, and you find yourselves helping people in such a manner and way that it's as natural as breathing to you. You find yourself counseling them, offering advice to them, problem solving for them, without even realizing it. You're offering advice from your own personal experiences that assists them in being able to understand what they're going through. If someone offers their opinion, you're not as apt to receive it because they haven't experienced or been through it. Somebody that's had that personal experience, they're able to reflect back on that, and they can lovingly speak their truth to you of what they went through, what they encountered. And if it resonates as truth to you, you're able to take that and apply it to your situation. With the Ascension, it's like every lesson is shown. You go, it'll show itself before you go through it. And for those that have this awareness, you're able to recognize the signs around you of what you're going through. And for those that ask for help, advice, or support, you're able to take your experience and share it with them in such a loving way, an impactful way that will resonate as truth to them. And they'll be able to take it and apply it, to their situation. Whereas you attempt to give your opinion to someone and they haven't asked for it, they're not going to be open to receive it. And they'll shut it down. And the person will end up having that, that encounter. And it's how they learn from that encounter that, do they get it or will they need to repeat it? And with Ascension, it's like school. You go through these lessons. And when you learn from the lesson, it's like graduation, you get to move on from it. If you have not learned the lesson, it means you get to repeat it. And you get to repeat it over and over and over again until you get it, which is circular. Isn't that interesting that it all goes around full circle? Or the cycle, the pattern. But the moment that you're able to recognize it, acknowledge it, and heal from it, the cycle breaks. New pattern comes in. For those who are hesitant or resistant to learn the lessons and they keep having to repeat it and go over it until they get it. And usually it comes to a point where dark night of the soul, which is an Ascension term. What is a dark night of the soul? It's like that moment where your life comes to a complete halt because something's not working in it. You've been getting the signs and the messages that whatever it is that's not working right. You keep seeing it, you keep feeling it, loved ones will say something about it. But what is it going to take for that last straw to happen to trigger you into action? Because usually we're very complacent until we're forced into action. And with Ascension, you know that you're going through it because it's usually triggered by an emotional moment. And you want to know, well, how do I know I'm going through my Ascension or my moment? Do you feel worried, angry, fearful, any of those emotions that are other than peace, love, and joy? Because when those other emotions come through, and the emotions are that beautiful barometer to let you know where you're at. If you're having a meltdown moment, someone, be calm and all be fine. You try doing that in the moment. You attempt to remember that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, that one of your loved ones is triggered with you or coworker, whoever it may be, and how do you respond to react to the situation? Do you come from a place of love and forgiving? We're taught that or told that, but sometimes that's hard to do because this person has said or done something just rubbed you the wrong way. It's like sandpaper. Pushed that button that can't be unpushed, said something that can't be unsaid, and you can't take it back. So you're going to have that that moment, that oh boy moment. How do you respond from it? The egoic self wants to protect you because it feels that you've been harmed or hurt because words have been used and now words are powerful. And words can hit like a sledgehammer. They say sticks and stones, but boy, sticks and stones can hurt, but words can hurt too. And they can trigger those emotional responses in us. Yelling, screaming, you hurt me, I hurt you back. That's crazy. But being able to recognize that this is part of the test. That person has showed up to be a test for you. You're able to recognize the test, then you're able to, there's the test. Pop quiz, hot shot, what do you do? Allow yourself to be calm in the moment. Be in the eye of the storm, not in the storm. People want to go in the storm, it's crazy. All that debris flying around and they got no helmet. They're just walking around and there's debris coming at them. And usually not even their debris, it's somebody else's debris. But they've been called out into the storm. Instead of them staying in the safety of the eye of the storm, you come to me. They want to go out to rush out to help these people. They ain't wearing no helmet or nothing. And next thing you know, they're complaining that they've been knocked upside the head. Imagine that. Like they didn't see that one coming. It's a storm. And they're like, oh, it'll be fine. Let's go sightseeing. You don't go sightseeing out in the storm unless you're storm chasing. You're getting paid for it. But that's usually our family's drama, our friends' drama, our co-workers' drama, our drama. We'll, send out RSVPs for it. You want to come and take part of my drama? No, thank you. That's what we should say, but no, most people, they're sure, why not? There was a song, Weak by AJR or something like that. One kiss bad for me, one sip bad for me. I give in so easily. No, thank you is what I should have said. I should be in bed. I heard that song and I'm like, wow, that says it all. But he gives in because I'm weak. And what's wrong with that? Well, if you like going through the lesson, nothing wrong with that. Until you finally decide you've had enough and you want to do something different. But that's the beauty of life. It gives you plenty of time to get it right. What do they say? Out of the mouths of babes, the wisdom of children. Most people ignore what they say because you're a child. What do you know? And yet these old souls, this child is speaking mad wisdom. Right, but it's a child. Yet, knowledge coming from somewhere. Who brought the knowledge to him? I mean, children are innocent, so they have that natural connection to the spirit world. So it comes through, and it's beautifully unfiltered. So that's why they speak what they say, and parents are shocked. Oh my God, you can't say that. Kids just speaking truth. Funny how we'll attempt to suppress the truth from them. Don't speak your truth. It's wrong. It's bad. And then we get over. You should speak your truth. Make up y'all's mind. Speak the truth early, so that way it's established. Everything else we get desensitized early, so why is it okay to harden the heart but not soften it? Why is it okay to encourage all about you but not love for others? It's crazy. And we're all here to help our fellow man. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes. We say no, but yes you are, because the moment that something goes down, you get that phone call, you're there. If it's a close friend, if it's a family member, it's like that one friend that everyone knows you're moving and you let everybody know that you need help moving on this day, and that day shows up and everybody's gone. There's nobody around except for that one person that they wasn't even the first on your list or the second or third on your list. But this is the one person that always shows up when you need them. Kind of like that old soul. It shows right back up right there when you need them. Which is why when people feel like they're going through the trials or tribulations, and next thing you know, person shows up. Bolt out of the blue. They have the words, the sayings, all to help you to understand what you're going through. And next thing you know, they're gone. It's like that poem, people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Whoever wrote that knew something was going on, because the people that are in your life, do you hang out with the people from grade school? You may, if you grew up with them or they're close to the family, you may still see them, but you don't really hang out with them. People from junior high, middle school, not so much. People from high school, you might be Facebook friends with them, but you don't really talk to them, and then after that, people show up when you need them, and then when it's complete, it moves on. Or the people may change, but the lesson remains the same. Because the lesson is going to keep on recycling till you get it. And you may, whether it's a relationship or whatnot, and that person leaves, and then you meet a new person, and then the new person starts to have the same traits that the other habits and behaviors that the other person had, except for they're a bit more intense. And this is all in order to get your attention, so you know that the lesson's being called for. Pay attention to the lesson. Honor the lesson. Honor the lesson, you're able to recognize it so that you can do something different. Choose not to honor the lesson, well, you get to redo it. And there's like a song for every situation. And Kenny Rogers, man, know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. Most people like to disregard that because, I don't know, some of us are gluttons for punishment. We just want to keep going back for that, you know. Everybody's version of love is different from your version of love. Some people, you know, love for them is getting yelled at and screamed at. That's crazy. But that's the way they were taught love. And, you know, that's not the purest form of love. You know, what did Yoda say? You must unlearn. You must unlearn what you have learned. Start over. You know, if it ain't working, that means you can do something different. But a lot of people don't want to do nothing different because that's what they've been taught, and they feel that they'll be looked at if they choose to break free. Ascension is breaking free. Ascension is allowing yourself to know that you don't have to keep doing the old stuff over again, dragging that through. What is that saying? Those who don't remember history are doomed to repeat it? My word. And the ones who figured it out were the game changers in history. These are the visionaries and the pioneers. That's right. These are the ones that people said they're crazy. And yet their inventions are what changed the world. You know, why is that? It's always the ones that people say are crazy, the ones that have the most outlandish, that's the dreamers, the pioneers, the vision, that go for it because they're fearless. And they fail so many times. But all it takes is one time for them to succeed, right? And then they go for it. See, nature always speaks up when you're on. You get those truth bumps or whatnot. How do you know you're speaking truth? You ever get goosebumps? That's how you know. Or that gut feeling, you know, your body will always let you know. And we're not alone. We're not alone in this great big beautiful world. You know, multi-dimensions and layers, um, cloud atlas, people. You know, the multiple lives all happening at once. What dreams may come, the Matrix, Alice in Wonderland, Hoover Blue Highway. These are all references to those experiences of life that, you know, we feel like I've done that before. And yeah, we've done that before. Your dreams, the visions, it all starts to come back, you know, and then you start to be open to it. And the more we start to clear out, Ascension is helping us to clear out. The human body is alive. All the cells are alive. You would imagine that each cell is its own little micro, you know, cosm or own little universe that's going around in there. So you imagine we're birthed into the world. We're imprinted coming through the birth canal. So next thing you know, we have this ancestral stuff to work with. We have this generational stuff to work with. And then the karmic stuff to work with. That's a lot. We ain't even hit the ground running yet. We're still crawling. And then we start going through all of this. The oldest child, the middle child, the baby child. Oldest child has all the responsibility. Middle child feels like it's got to be the one to prove themselves because they're not being looked at. Youngest child, the baby, gets whatever they want because they're the baby. So oldest child, full responsibility. Middle child's got to prove themselves. The baby, no responsibility. Pattern. Then, of course, whatever our parents went through, that they learn from their parents, pattern. And then, of course, whatever, you know, the people that you're growing up with, your cousins and whatnot, and siblings, and what y'all experience, what you're usually together during the holidays. The holidays are usually the most traumatic times. Supposed to be the most joyous, but usually loved ones pass on holidays or birthdays or anything like that. So there's a mixed blessing for the Christmas and all those being the happiest. Usually a lot of challenges for healing. And then there we go. You know, so you suppress it, you cover it up, you don't talk about it, whatever happened when you were a child. Next thing you know, it shows up fresh as a daisy. You know, 20 years later. Why is this coming up? Because now you're ready to address it. And now what's coming up, you found the strength to speak your truth. And boy, it causes havoc. Because, oh, don't talk about that. Those that have the brightest light to shine are usually treated or ostracized as the black sheep. Because they're the ones who speak their truth. They're the ones who follow their guidance. It's usually our loved ones that are the knuckleheads that just don't know how to act right, don't know how to make the right choices. And these are the ones that are always jumping into the deep end, not knowing how to swim. And our loved ones jump in to save them. And we're trying to save them. But they're determined to save the one who doesn't want to swim. So then we find ourselves with these repeat patterns over and over and over. And eventually we decide that I'm ready for something different. I'm tired of doing the same thing over and not really seeing much progress. I want something new to happen. And just like that, you have now invited change into your life. The ascension process starts. The spiritual evolution or emotional maturity, we just know that the old ways don't work. So we start looking to do things that work for us. And we've come to learn that it's okay to do things for us. To take time out for you. Self-love, self-care. Because by you taking time to work on you, you're able to help others. We're usually looked at as we're the way showers for everyone. We're willing to go out there and do things that most would not. They'd rather play it safe. We don't use to play it safe. We're going to go for it. And it's about us being able to know that you have the courage and the strength to make these changes. We're the givers. We tend to give more than we allow ourselves to receive. And it's okay for to allow yourself to receive. We always want to make sure that everybody else has what they need. And this is about you recognizing that these are the blessings that you've earned from the work that you've done from this lifetime and all the other lifetimes. Because clearly we have lessons that we go through until we learn them. And the people that are in your lives are definitely, they play a factor in that. Whether, young, in the younger years or the later years. And these people show up because souls are eternal. And you've known each other in one form or another. And whether that was, out there, Egypt or Lemuria or Atlantis or, China or Machu Picchu or the ancient civilizations, of these things that we feel connected to. And then you start to have these premonitions, dreams, and visions that all start to come back. And you come to realize you're not crazy. You very much are connected. And you come to realize that you have this host of beings. It's like the Akashic Records. It's like you got a whole... The spirit world is vast and infinite. And for those that are open to that, you come to realize that's the real reality. Because the real world is like Alice in Wonderland. You're only here for a blink of time. And then you're gone. And then you get to meet back up with everybody that you ever knew here. And most people don't want to die because they're afraid. And yet, we're here one moment, gone the next. And then there's more to it. Allowing ourselves to be the free souls that we're meant to be. If you're not sure, ask for a sign. It'll come through. Guarantee it. And if you're ready for change, the moment that you say, I'm ready for this to shift or something else to happen, and so it is. It's going to happen. Ask yourself, or ask for whatever you're going to ask for, that or something better. So that way you're not disappointed with the outcome. Be open to grow. Be open to recognize the signs. Anything that triggers you emotionally, that's your opportunity for growth. Well, how do you know? Oh, you'll know. You'll know when you're no longer at peace and resting and relaxed. You'll get that phone call. You'll get that text. You'll get that knock on the door. And just like that, your happiness is gone. But that's your opportunity to see where you're at. That's the review. How was it the pop shot? Pop quiz, hot shot, what are you going to do? Well, you're either going to have a moment, and pass it, or you're going to let your ego come to the party. Ego's like that friend that had way too many tequila shots in Vegas that says, come on, I know the way to get us down to the other end of the strip. You're like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And your higher self is like the designated driver that would get you there safely. You want to listen to that because that's got everybody's best interest at heart. Ego loves you and it wants to protect you, but man, it's like the teenager that thinks it knows better you know, and you can't tell it anything. And because it's in charge of the other two, you know, the ego is like the older child that doesn't want to listen. And then, of course, you got the middle child who wants to rebel against the ego. And then, of course, you got the body, which is like the infant. The body, just give her whatever it wants and it's going to be happy. But if you give it something it doesn't agree with, you're going to have issues. The middle child is like the emotional body, so it gets all worked up and it's all temperamental and it gets upset. And then, of course, it's having that out with the ego, which is the older child, which thinks it knows everything but doesn't want to be smart enough to ask for help or advice. Next thing you know, home alone. You know, chaos. Something's going to unfold. And then, of course, your higher self, which is like the parents, is like, why would you do that? I don't know. And that's usually, I don't know. Why would you do that? I don't know. Wow, didn't you receive a sign, a message? More than likely you did. You know, you sure you wouldn't do that? I wouldn't do that. Oh, you're conscious, but you didn't want to listen to that because it's like, it's too loud. Turn that down. And then you get that scar. And then you'll never forget how you get that scar. So that means you're a bit more open to learning, to listening. But usually if we want to be hard-headed, life is so great. It will give you every chance to learn from your experiences. You learn that if you didn't get it the first time, you'll get it the second. If you didn't get it the second, well, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And since you like it rough, well, life sets it up that way. Life is not always soft and cuddly. Life can be rough and abrasive, scratchy and itchy, uncomfortable, like a woolly shirt. You know, you're just like, ugh, it itches. Yeah, it's better just to go with the flow of it. But you know, usually we gotta, you know, make a few mistakes before we're actually ready to do that. Which most adults, they get it, and some of the younger generation, they're actually smart enough where, you know, they get it. And then, of course, you got those that they just don't want to learn. Get your popcorn. It's going to be a great show because you know they're going to go through it. Do your best not to get sucked into their black hole of reality, you know, because even though you'll do that, it's usually that loved one that gives you that phone call. Could you please go check on such and such? No, I'm sorry. I'm unavailable. You never said no to them before. Such power in being able to say no. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay to say no. It doesn't work for you. No is a complete sentence. Most people don't like to say no because they want to people please. And all the givers, who are usually the ones out there meant to help with ascension, are too busy carrying emotional burdens for everyone else. Well, since when the hell did we become pack mules? That's crazy. Carrying around everybody else's burdens, you know, the camel, that last straw, and it's like, they do this one more thing, they say this one more thing, they do this, and we still like, oh, it's okay. How is that okay? We're not doormats. And yet, sometimes loved ones view us as doormats. We're not meant to have our feet, you know, be wiped on. And yet, we make exceptions for loved ones. We put up with things that are not normal. We accept things because we want to be liked and accepted and acknowledged. You know, and we don't want to be viewed badly. And we go, you know, I'm not a bad person. But why is this happening to me? Because usually you'll keep getting the lesson until you're triggered to do something about it. Self-worth, self-esteem, you know, self-belief, self-love. You know, most people that don't have these things tend to look for it elsewhere. And, you know, and we usually try to, you know, fulfill that with a partner that doesn't get us or doesn't, you know, appreciate us. Or we're settling for things in life that just doesn't make us happy because others said that that's what they did, so it's what we should do. You know, but blessed are those that have the courage to step forward to do something different, you know, to go against the norm. You know, and they're usually the ones labeled as the Mavericks. Thank goodness. And also treated as the outcast, you know, because we don't belong. Good. Because we're just like, that's crazy. You know, that, no. Why would you do something that's crazy? I, you know, but people do that because we want to fit in, we want to belong, we want to be accepted. I'd rather be a maverick. Do it feels right. Because when you do that, that shows the others who the courage that, hey, I can be a maverick. always go for, shoot for they say shoot for the stars. Why is the sky is the limit? No, it's not. The universe is ever expanding. There is no boundaries. You do whatever the hell you're guided to do, especially if you're guided to do it. Trust your intuition, because when is it wrong? And then it's like, well, how do you know? Well, you know that when it comes from your intuition, it's spot on. It feels right, feels good. If it comes from the ego, it's all up in your head. You're thinking, you're all emotional about it. You get worked up. Just breathe and say woosah. Let it go. But most people want to get worked up. And they want to talk about it. And they want to share it. And they want to talk about it some more. And what's that saying? Misery loves company. So they keep it, pity party. And they send out, reservations. I delightfully decline all those reservations. I'm busy. I got a meditation or something to do. That's crazy. And most people are like, meditation and ascension. I don't know how to meditate. Do you know how to walk in nature? You know how to just allow yourself to walk listening to music, something that you enjoy listening to? You can do all kinds of meditations that will assist you in being able to connect. Everybody's uniquely different. You find what works for you. If it works for you, then do it. But that doesn't work for me, then find what works for you. It's not complicated. People want to make life complicated. What is that? The golden rule: do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. And that's also like law of attraction. You do crap, you're gonna get crap back. You do good, you're gonna get good back. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. And yet, Forrest Gump. Everybody thought Forrest was just, bless his heart, I'm not a smart man. But he knew what love was. Well, hell, that's the key right there. Lieutenant Dan, just bless his heart, couldn't get it worth nothing. He had to be out there in the storm to finally have his epiphany. What do you know? Lieutenant Dan had to be out in the storm, and there was Forrest, bearing witness, jumped out in the boat to swim out there to save him. What do you know? We're always jumping out there to save somebody. So, Lieutenant Dan got new legs and he got a whole new outlook on life. Bubba, always doing good. We love Bubba too. And then, of course, Bubba and the shrimp, that just didn't happen. And but Forrest did right. Took care of his people. Good came back. Notice that Forrest kept getting blessed every time he did something good for somebody in that movie. Forrest Gump, another month. So every time he did something good, he kept getting blessed. And every time the others kept doing, Jenny, my word, that girl got put through the ringer. She didn't want to listen. So she kept having to repeat the cycle. And Forrest kept showing up to save her. And she finally said, you can't save me every time, Forrest. Well, she got that hard lesson, and in the end, Forrest was still there for her. She lucked out. Because most people were like, I'm done with you. I wash my hands. Unless they're family. And then you can't really cut them off or out. You move away from them, but you're more likely going to see them for the holidays. So, and what do they say? You ain't changed a bit. Really? I feel like I've changed a whole lot. I know I've changed a whole lot. But funny that the people that don't change are the ones that say you don't change. Right, because they know. Because they've done the work. They have not done the work. So I pay them no mind. I love them, but I pay them no mind. You trust your intuition. If you're not sure, ask. They always say go with your first instinct. It's never wrong. When has it ever been wrong? If it wasn't right, they'd say go with your second instinct. Just the first. We have a sixth sense. We have a third eye. We have a pineal gland that all comes through. Our ancestors were doing something right because they had all these connections with spirit. They didn't have all the pharmaceuticals and all the other stuff that we so importantly need today to survive. They used food to heal thyself, and herbs and medicine, from the earth. They, even the most overzealous ones still were able to, survive until they went too far overboard. Everything in balance works. I'm tickly. You can always feel the loving guidance around you. And that's how you know. When you feel like you're being hugged or supported or embraced. I focus on the good. There's plenty of bad out there. I'm aware of it. Hell, it's on the news every day, which I choose to ignore that. Yeah, the vibrations, be informed, but don't carry around the burdens. Do what you can do and allow the rest to go. Communicate clearly. Ask for what you need. Be open to that or something better coming in. Know that it's okay to say no. Take time out for yourself. These are things I'm still working on doing myself. Because when you take time out for you, it shows that you're able to take time out for others. When you love on you, you're able to love others. Attempting to fill the chasm or the void with other things is like trying to fill up the Grand Canyon with a thimble. You're going to have a long, long day doing that. It's best to go with what works. So most people are unhappy with their jobs. That's a sign that they're being called to do something else. And they say, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. And yet, they have this amazing gift for things that they would not even think about doing yet. Energy work, or counseling, or all these other holistic methods and ways of helping others to feel better, helping others to heal, helping others to release. And as opposed to working a 9 to 5 that they're miserable at, that they don't want to do, that they drive to every day or suffer through every day to get that paycheck, to pay the bills, and then end the cycle, and they're saving up so they can retire to have that life. It's hard to have that life when you up there in the years wanting to get around and do the stuff that you wanted to do when you were 20 or 30 or 40. And then we see the people that have the courage to do that, and everybody is a way short an example for you to take that beautiful step or leap of faith. Things become uncomfortable because you're being edged out of the nest. And, you don't want to fly out of the nest, but when you're divine intervention, you're kicked out of the nest, you realize real quick that you can fly. You start flapping real quick. And even if you bounce when you hit the ground, it means you get to, climb back up and do it again. This is a time where everything is shifting. It's all shifting, and the awakening is happening. The mass awakening is happening. And for those who are awake now, they're the way shores and guides to others. They are the beacons in the lighthouse to guide those others out there in the rough seas of life into the safety of the harbor. We've already learned that if you leave the sanctuary of the lighthouse to go and help them out there in the rough seas of life on the boat, you're going to get tossed and turned too. And you can't help nobody if you get hit with that rogue wave. So it's best to be the guiding light. But we all learned that, in accordance to when we're ready for it. Not to be so hard on ourselves for what we did or didn't do. And to know that, hey, every day, tomorrow's another opportunity to do something better than what we did the day before. Allow ourselves to be open. Something good is going to come from it. We know that we're not alone. Some people call us crazy. Well, I guess that's a matter of opinion. How do you describe crazy? Crazy doing the same thing that everybody else is doing that doesn't work. That's crazy. Definition of setting, they doing the same thing over, expecting a different result or outcome. Or, are you the one who's able to do what feels right, to take that leap of faith, to do something different, to say no, to follow your own path, and know that that's what you've been doing for all these other eons, millennia, or centuries, that you've always been a way shower, a healer, a counselor, a guide, and all the things that we have a natural affinity for. With everything going on in the world, the human being, human doing, we have so much to offer. And our ancestors left all these clues for us to remember who we truly are. And they were able to create architecture and things that we still can't describe to this day how they did it. They had help. So they created things that we still are unable to duplicate to this day. Very curious. Some people have never been to a certain place, but the moment they see it or come into contact with it, it's life-changing. You know, whether Egypt or these other sacred sites, you know, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, they go to Peru, and they feel like they've been there before. Sedona. You know, a lot of people get the call to Sedona, and they feel like they've been there before. Mount Shasta is the same. These places are on the ley line grids, sacred energy. And you find yourself going to these various spots and being activated. Something always seems to happen to people that are sensitive to energy at these spots. And they end up meeting people from their soul group, soul tribe, soul family. And these individuals bring new information. They bring new insight. They help them to face fears that they've long run from. They help them to overcome obstacles and challenges that they've long ran from. You know, and so here we are with the opportunity to be of service, as we have before, and to do it from a place that feels right, you know, a place of love, with the opportunity of healing and growth. And here we are once again. You know, grateful for the opportunity to be a part. Love all of you. And, you know, so thank you for the opportunity.
I'm Erin Renee, and I guess we're going to talk about what I know or what I've been given the information about Ascension and what it means to all of us, to Gaia, to shifting. Everything's going up an octave. So even the rocks are going to second density. Anything that was first density is now going to second density. And so I'm sure that that is what is discussed. That's the basic principles of the Ascension. Ascension means we're coming up and out of a lower density into a higher density. And so we laugh and we say, oh, that's so third density. That's because that's ridiculous. You know, women aren't in the kitchen barefoot, pregnant, serving cocktails to her husband anymore. We shifted out of that paradigm in the 50s, right? And we shift out of all of these paradigms. And now we are in, there is nothing. Everything we thought had the reason or the way or the control doesn't make any sense to anybody anymore, and they can't abide by it. So it's time to shift. And I don't know, that's what it is. It starts with trying to learn what the systems are, finding out about yourself, seeing what other people have said, and then wanting more, thinking this isn't enough. So now people are going to travel to India, and they're going to go learn how the yogis are doing things and how the saints are doing things and all these other things. And so it creates this need where everybody is traveling and they are all seekers, but nobody is finding and until they remember. So we will seek until we will remember, and something shifts us out of it. So Ascension to me is about letting go of anything that has to do with control and the control modules that were, used. I'm a veteran of the United States military. I was in the military police corps. I use it in my daily world to walk in the way that I need to walk. Up here, I don't need that. I don't need any of that armor or that ability. I don't need to show people what it is, even though I walk in the way and this is where my family is. But out in the world, I got to put on this facade. I got to be, the girl that can snap at any minute. I think there was a lot of confusion in the beginning because I had all this wisdom and I would say weird stuff and my family wouldn't know what to do with it. So, I was always told that I was weird or to be quiet or I was too stressed out or too anxious. I was a highly sensitive child. And it was later on that my family realized, I think, some of them, and they apologized. And I still struggle with it because I was the one that they teased and made fun of and all that, because it was fun to make me cry. That was the enchantment on the land at the time, was the bullies were in charge. And if you weren't a bully, then you weren't winning, So, and I'm still watching that paradigm as people are, I'm the winner, I'm better, I'm successful, and that paradigm doesn't exist anymore. So we are in a new timeline. And it shifts all the time. That's where the Mandela effect comes in, and we are losing chunks because the recorders don't understand that they are recorders. So I know somewhere along the line that I'm an activator. These are things that I was channeled and that were given to me. My spiritual name is Whitestone Mother. It means that I really look for the white stones. And white in any shamanic name means that you come from the highest order for the highest good to bring that here and to anchor it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing home here. And absolutely, I want everybody to experience it. So if an entity comes in and says, don't worry about everybody else, worry about yourself. It's all about saving yourself now. There's none of that. Those of us that vibrated together and they're here in our sphere are here for a reason. They made it. Anybody that made it to this retreat made it. They made the cut, man. That's a big deal.
What are you most looking forward to about Ascension?
That's so funny. I used to really think about that. I did. I used to think about what it was going to be like, what Jubilee was going to be like, what all these things that were going to, you know, things we weren't going to need anymore, like money, and we were going to go back to barter system. And this is what I envisioned. I envisioned New Earth because I was told in my mind, it's time to start envisioning New Earth. And so I saw people living on solar, you know, I found people composting their poop the way it should be done and giving it back to the forest. I see people not peeing in water is life, mini wichoni. Why are we flushing toilets? See, these are the things I'm looking forward to. The things that we don't need to do anymore. You know, we don't need to eat as much, except for here, because when you're doing spiritual work, you got to eat. But out in the world, I mean, honestly, you can recharge in the sun and the trees. You know, but so many people have to subject themselves to stress and everything just for the survival of the society we're living in. You know, what I'm loving to see in the progressive world is that the young people are going, hey, look at me. You know, I'm 45 and I'm still skating, and I got, you know, little kids and they're out at the skate park with me, and I'm still rocking, you know, my Vans, and they're all gray now, but they're still skaters and surfers, and they're still doing it. They're still playing because Gaia wants us to play. That's what this is about. And my house is a babysitting house for the people, and the Sasquatch are my people. And we are also a student exchange. So they bring Sasquatch from all over, might travel with somebody who's visiting and jump off at my house or portal right through because we have a big apple tree. So the Sasquatch are there to simplify it for us. That's it. We have overcomplicated our lives so much that we can't see the simplicity of it. So compassion and the law of one. We are all one. If you want to know Sasquatch, you walk into the woods and you shout, I know Ra. I love Ra. I know what the law of one is. I am your family. And, you know, it's going to happen. I mean, if you did that every day for a week, eventually somebody would go, God, I heard you. All right. And they'll show up and they'll go, what do you want to talk about? And then maybe that human might say, well, I just want to understand myself and my connection. And the Sasquatch will say, that's a good answer. Maybe I'll teach you. Maybe not today. Maybe next week.
Why do you want to ascend?
It's not a question. This is the harvest. There is no want. You don't choose. And that's the truth. All these people are talking about focusing and getting better and following the Christ consciousness. And, you know, it's really simple. Be compassionate to each other. Treat each other like your family. Like that angry squirrel up there is my little brother or sister and has every right to say, what the hell are you doing in my woods? But also, will you leave me something later? So we may have to. But anyway, the animals, everything's all connected. So if everything's all connected and everything's all one, you know, we know about the concept of oneness, but what we need to understand is it's not just the concept when you understand it, when you know it. So it's either you are harvested or you are not. And that's where it is. Do you choose to harvest? Do you choose to vibrate? You're going to vibrate anyway, but are you going to go, you can go higher if you're service to others. You can vibrate higher at a higher octave if you care and take care of others and do deeds for others and make it about service. You can also ascend being service to self. The ascension is the big show. So sometimes I'll ask somebody in higher self, I'll look at them and I'll go, why are you here? And somebody might say, oh, I'm here to heal. And I'm like, why are you really here? How many times have you been here? And the higher self might say, oh my God, I've been here so many times, but really, I'm just here to see the show. So really, it might not be about working through all of these things. Once we get to a level of understanding fifth density, All you have to do is say, hey, if you believe something, that's awesome. If it's your way of thinking, that's awesome. You'll come to your own conclusion. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to infringe upon your life. I want everybody to understand this on their own and to walk in their own way. And I think that might be it, even though I have a lot more to say, but it's the show. We're watching it unravel, and we're going to dream it back up again. That's what we're doing. We are creating it as we go.
People have been talking about ascension in a lot of conferences that I've gone to, and a lot of people that I have contact with on the ascension thing that is going to happen not very far in the future. The way I look at ascension is that it's probably going to be in a very short amount of time, but it seems to be like there will be like in groups rather than in a mass ascension. I think some of the people that are ready to make a ascension, what they call ascension, is probably the ones that will be first would be the one that has been awake for a long time, that have always been talking about the future and some of the activities that are related to off-planet interventions, the people that have been downloaded with much information but don't really understand what they're all about. And the ascension process, it ranges in a very broad spectrum. Some of the religious groups says that there are going to be 144,000, and if you don't belong to their particular group, then you're not going to be part of the ascension. On the other extreme is the one that they talk about the life that you have made yourself to become, which is coming in within yourself, and that's where a lot of your light workers go into this realm. So you have a broad spectrum, and even those that are more of a science fiction type have said, well, we're going to have a mass ascension. There's going to be a whole fleet of flying saucers come over here, and they're going to take the people away to a new world. Now, none of these things that I have heard about does not make too much sense to me, because my own spiritual teachings is that there's always the bottom line is that we do not die. We always proceed to the next part of our journey, which is our lives, that we continue. Our bodies are basically like a uniform. We shed off the uniform and we go into the spiritual plane, but it goes into multidimensional. And there's been a lot of hypotheses about how many dimensions there are, but then again, nobody really knows. So it seems to me that in the religious aspect of this thing is that we are the chosen ones that are going to go. And the other extreme will be the sort of the technological science part, where they say we will convert into a silicone-based human being and leave the carbon base behind. So there's a lot of things that have been presented in the last 20 or 30 years that I've been involved with. My own interpretation of these things is that it has to start within ourselves, and we are part of a huge, what we call, I would say, a cosmetic eruption, or a cosmetic moment where a lot of things are in play right now will come to a culmination. I believe that the human species will not be eliminated. I think they're just going into a different stage, which has happened in the past. However, in the past, it was sort of a gradual process where a lot of our human species were upgraded especially as in my teachings from my tribal side, is sort of like an upgrading. In the Ascension part of it, I believe that we are now within a mixture of the multidimensional forces, and this can be pretty well observed right now by a lot of different things that are happening. It started out with UFOs, then it started going out into a lot of programs that have been put together that we do not know, and it usually goes in the realm of the super secret space program, which I have also worked with people in those type of programs. And so there's a whole bunch of information out there, but I do believe that we are now going into a phase now that we're going to switch from the present human status into something that is more advanced, probably more opening in terms of our spirituality, of our consciousness, and also of the scientific part, the technological part. I do not believe that it's going to be done with artificial intelligence, because that's still a machine. I do not believe that it's going to be like the religious groups that say we're going to go into this other world and you guys will be left behind. So there is this spectrum, but I have been working very closely with a lot of these theories at this time, and putting the pieces together for my own interpretation based upon the lot of information that is received through a lot of different sources. My number one source is something that I have been working with for a number of times, which I believe most people will call it downloading, and it's sort of like in a science fiction mode of dream stage, visionary type of work, which we call simply as visionary, and there's other things that are happening in the cosmos that are directly related to the turning of things that on the planet itself that can go into the next stage. We are only a mere speck in the whole solar system, in the galaxy. But can you imagine how big the whole universe is? So everything is at play, everything is in a balance, but there's also other things that are coming. We know about the different interferences that will be happening in terms of, say, space vehicles, which we don't know who makes them or what they're made out of. But on the other side of that would be what we call the planetary relocation, including asteroids, including different planets that are coming from the other types of constellation. The Hopi are famous for the blue star, and which is equivalent to something like in the Anunnaki theory about a planet or a asteroid type thing that will come into our neighborhood and turn around the sun, come back into our earth, and then leave. And so this is another story that has a backup. In the Zuni side, we talk about the end of the world situation. It does not mean end of the earth situation. It does not mean end of the people. It merely states that this is the end of the age. I believe that really started out with the Mayan calendar and in the harmonic convergence. And I think they were misled in a lot of ways in the interpretation. But right now, there's a lot of things that are happening which the government will never even say that they have any information about. So it's up to the other organizations and mostly individuals that are coming up with it, because we no longer have to be afraid. We no longer have to be scared, and because of the things that are coming. So as far as ascension is concerned, there's a lot of people that have come to me about what they have been shown, whether it be in dream stage, whether it be in visions, or being actually out there where a multidimensional universe shifts where they can see the future of what's happening. One of the favorite theme is that we will see ancient cities come back to the surface. Well, what they say also tell me is that there are other beings that will be included in that part of the ascension mode, if you may. And then the other one is that the selection of the people that have been true to whatever they were taught or what they believed in, and some are so detailed. One story that has been told me is that there will be beings that are like about 10 to 12 feet high, and they're come in pairs. And one holds a crook, and the other one holds an ankh, like they have in the Egyptian instrument system. And one of them looks over a human being, and he either waves affirm or negate or whatever, and the one with the ankh is the one that makes that person disappear. So these are whether they're allegories, whether they're a direct relationship to how it's going to happen. It's up to the individual or individuals to determine make the interpretation based upon their teachings, their culture, and their inner self in a lot of these types of visions, dreams, and so on. So this is right now for example, where we are at right here in the Bigfoot conference, they are telling us a lot of things, but we are also now catching up to them because we have become open-minded, and we also have to go in within ourselves to really understand it and go into their vibration scales and to be open to it rather than being, like I said, don't be scared of it. And they have a lot of messages to tell us. We have to divert our thinking in terms of taking care of the creatures of the planet, not only on the planet, but also of things from outer space or the cosmos. So that's my interpretation of a very general idea. I do not have any specifics because there are so many of them that has to be interpreted to even come out with a category of saying that these are the theories or these are the assumptions of what may happen. Mankind is just now at the surface of that inner things that are happening, and it has to be done from inside out rather than outside in. And this is where I believe that's going to start.
I'm going to guide you through a meditation. Now you'll be in the middle of a field. Just imagine yourself in the middle of a beautiful field. And in the middle of this field, there's a ship. A small egg-shaped ship. And the door is open. And it's waiting for you to get in. You get in and the door closes behind you. And everything is see-through in this bubble. And you start elevating up the atmosphere, through the atmosphere. into the galaxies, and you travel to this beautiful, beautiful planet. Now you start descending into your planet. And you land, and you're greeted by your family. They guide you. And everybody's welcoming you. Ancestors, grandparents, all relatives. And there's 4 elders waiting for you. The first elder summons you and gives you your first gift. They hand you your shoes, these beautiful, beautiful gold sandals. And they thank you for walking through this earth in such a turmoil time. They honor you. When you feel the walk is too heavy, they will carry you. The next elder gives you your next gift. And this is your sword, the sword of truth. They say we give you the gift of discernment to cut through the illusion of the density of the 3rd dimension. Thank you for being on earth. We honor you. The next elder gives you your cloak. Beautiful purple cloak lined with gold. And this cloak is surrounding you, reminding you that you are always protected. You are never alone. We are here to guide you to and from. Thank you for coming to Earth. The last elder gives you your crown, your graduation gift, to remember that you have accomplished what many have not. Thank you for doing the work on being the next way showers. You are honored by all. We love you. Thank you. Now you are led to the throne to sit and embrace the frequencies to help you